Hi, thanks for tuning in as we talk about being a substitute and being a volunteer at Covenant Christian School. We're delighted that you're interested, and thanks for being with us.
Yeah, we just want to say thank you for volunteering and choosing to be a substitute teacher. We really appreciate it here on campus that you would come in and help us in a time of need where we need somebody to help keep the classes and the school functioning.
So let's talk about why you volunteer. And so if you could just think for a second, the school's got to keep going even if the teacher's not here. We can't stop school for that day. So you keep the school moving forward as a whole. That's how important you are on that particular day. And you serve the teacher because she needs her class to keep moving forward, and you help her by being here and being involved in the classroom.
Another part of that, Keith, too, is that it helps also with the students and making sure they're staying on track and that they're not getting distracted and getting into things that they shouldn't be getting into. And one of the other benefits
Our
is
students wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't do that?
No, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, one of the other benefits to have is that, you know what, if you're a parent and your child goes here, then your student knows that you're going to be on campus and maybe in their classroom with them.
Yeah, and that's one of the top two things in research. It says when a parent comes on campus, it helps your child be successful in school just by knowing you care and you're here. So that's great. Let me talk just a second about what the most crucial reason is that you're here. It's to benefit the students, to keep them safe.
That's right.
You're here for the students. And it's not just your student, although there is a benefit for you in being here, but it's for all the students. You've got to have a general outlook on that day.
Well, what about our responsibilities, though, when we come here on this campus?
Well, we're responsible to God. And I am, Mr. Lugo is, all the teachers are. We're all responsible to God first. And then when you come on campus, you're responsible to God too. And before you come on campus, you're responsible to God. But it's important that you know that we're all responsible to Him. The second thing is we're responsible, we feel like, and we believe it's true, that we are responsible to the parents. The children have been given to the parents, and parents in turn entrust them to us while they're here at the school. So it's important that you know that you're responsible to the parents.
And another part of that too is that the teacher and the administration is also relying on you to do the right things when we're not around, so that we know that the students are being taken care of and things are being done appropriately. And lastly, that you're responsible of making sure that the students are doing what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it.
That's great.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you believe an effective way for supervision to occur during the day? How should we go about that?
Why don't you start on that? And I know you come bringing something to us. Share what you think.
Yeah, well, I think one of the biggest things is that we can do is be preventative, is to make sure that dealing with things before they ever escalate to becoming a problem is a really easy way to make things a lot easier for you as a substitute or volunteer here on campus during the day. Another thing is get in the action. Be in the middle of things. Don't be just watching. Be vigilant. Be in a place where the students know you're in a position that they know you're there and that you're going to be keeping an eye on them.
That's good. One of the things we want to help you do, and why we're having this video today, is we want you to manage the classroom.
Right.
Because the better you manage, the more you anticipate what the next thing is and you help the kids follow along, the less discipline you have to do. So managing versus disciplining is more fun. And the other thing is communicate to the appropriate people. Communicate to the teacher what needs to be known. Don't communicate to people outside the classroom other than the teacher's administration.
What about legal?
Yeah, legal issues, and we all have to be somewhat aware of legal issues on the campus. The first thing is the safety, the benefit of the children is your number one priority. So make sure you are watching for the safety and benefit of kids. And if you have a doubt and something's bothering you a little bit and you think, I don't know if that's a good thing, go ahead and stop it. It's okay for you to step in and use your judgment. That's why you're there. Just stop it. And we can go from there.
Right. And, as a substitute volunteer, always know where your students are at. One of the legal responsibilities is not just in the classroom, but when that child leaves your presence and they're somewhere else on campus, by law, you are still responsible for their activity and their behavior. So know where they're at
Know where
all
they are.
times. That's right.
Yeah.
Also, get involved. Again, don't sit on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Be engaged with them. That's going to continue to help keep things under control.
Yeah, the very worst thing you can do is to do nothing.
Nothing.
So,
That's right.
so get there. Get where you need to be. What do we need to be alert for on the campus? When you're here, what do you need to watch out for?
Yeah, I think some things that are very important are the walkways. That's going to be very important. Anything in the walkways that could be a hindrance to us.
Yeah, like a ladder, somebody working on a light or something like that, or traffic. And sometimes we have to cross from the sidewalk to the library or the cafeteria. We have to walk across the traffic area. Your job is to make sure they're safe in doing that.
And you know, Keith, I've even noticed sometimes on campus there's sometimes sharp edges and things like that you've even had issues with.
I've run
before.
into one of those sharp corners hanging down on the way up to the playground. It hurts. It hurts. So keep the kids between the rails going up and down those steps. It's much safer. No way to bump their heads.
And you know, Keith, something else that's important is emotions. There's going to be a lot of emotions during the day. There's going to be good emotions and there's going to be some not so good emotions. What we'd like for you to do is, as substitutes and even volunteers, manage that. It's okay for kids to have fun and have a good time, but at the same time, get them back under control or else things will be difficult to handle. And if you notice a kid that's getting emotionally distraught, try to do your best to try to step in and alleviate that.
Absolutely. What about the playground?
Oh, the playground. Yeah, please, when you're on the playground, be in a position that you can scan the entire playground so that you could see everything real clearly and be aware of the dangerous areas. See what's out there that could be a potential danger and always be aware of, not only just the equipment and what the students are doing, but be wise on what's happening with the weather, with storms coming in or the temperature being really hot. And if you see a kid that's, may not be looking like they're looking their best, just have them come sit down, take a break. And again, those preventative steps to help, keep things in order will tremendously help.
That's good. What are some activities, Mr. Lugo, that substitute teachers should avoid doing?
There's a couple that come to my mind that I think would help. One is leaving. Please do not leave the classroom and your students unattended. They've got to be supervised the entire time. Another one that's real common, I think, that we need to be aware of is cell phone use. We need to make sure that when we're here on campus that we're not being distracted by cell phones, by engaging in conversations on the phone, texting, looking at things through social media. It's very important that you guys are alert and you know what's going on while you're on campus.
Yeah, and another thing you can't. I know you're reading your favorite book sometimes, but you can't bring a book and be reading a book while you're supervising kids. You've got to keep your eyes out there on the kids and your mind alert for them. So
Mr. Currie, what about dressing? How should we dress when we come here on campus?
Well, when you come to substitute, it's important that we dress appropriately because your dress, or the way you dress, communicates. And it communicates, business or I don't. I'm here to have fun. If you come in flip-flops and shorts, that says I'm going to the beach. It doesn't say I'm here to be a professional and to bring the safety of the kids and to be in charge. How you dress says I'm in charge. You only have one chance to make that first impression of the day, and how you dress makes it. So come in ready to work, ready to go. If you're in kindergarten, you got to dress a little differently, maybe than you do if you're with middle schoolers. And middle schoolers, you want to dress up a little bit more. So dress appropriately and comfortably for what you're doing. So during the day, substitute, arriving, going through the day, starting the day, give us an overview. Yeah,
so starting the day, it's very important. Be early. You need to understand that if you're getting here when the school day starts, you're already late. We want you to get here before the students get here.
Absolutely.
And the reason why behind that is because this is going to allow you to get here on time, not have to rush. You need to come to the office once you get here and get your sub badge so that everybody on campus knows that you're the sub for the day, and the kids know that. And then once you're in the classroom, you can go ahead and start looking over those lesson plans and making sure that you understand what's going on for the day that the teacher has laid out for us. Also, too, make sure you're following the daily schedule. That's going to be very important.
The school runs on a clock.
Runs on a clock. So we want to
Yeah.
make sure everybody's starting class, ending class, transitioning to different classes on time. This just helps out everyone.
Helps everybody.
You know, the other part is we always want to make sure that if you have questions and you need help, don't be afraid to ask the teachers around you for assistance. And if they can't help you, call the office, ask for administration to come assist you.
Yes, very good.
Well, what about managing the class? Do you have any tips on that?
Okay, well, the first thing is you got to have a way to get the children's attention. And you know that when we have a meeting, I will stand up, or when I go to chapel, I stand up to speak to the children. I say, "He is risen," and they answer, "He is risen indeed." Now, that's a signal I've used, both because it's an important thing for them to know, but it has become a way that I get their attention through the years. And different teachers have different things they use. If you know what that is, use what's regularly used. But if you don't know, well, here's what I would suggest, whether it's a classroom or outside: clap your hands 3 times. And have the children clap their hands 3 times and look at you. And just practice doing that a couple times. Say, okay, let's practice it. I'll clap, and then they answer and look at you. And so that way you get your attention. And on the playground it'll work, in the classroom it'll work. And then you got about 3 seconds. You have about 3 seconds to speak to them, tell them what you want them to do, and give clear instructions. Make sure you give clear instructions. And clear and simple are very much the same thing when you're dealing with kids. So just say, let's line up. Don't give 5 things. Don't say, let's line up, get the math books, get your lunch boxes. Don't say all those things. Just say, let's line up. And then you're on your way. Another thing is when you're in the classroom or even on the playground, circulate, move around, move in between the rows, move down, look at what the kids are doing. On the playground, walk around the playground. Again, keep everything in view, but be near where the kids are. And your presence communicates, I'm in charge. It's just amazing when that happens. If there's a slowness to respond to you, move toward it. If there's trouble, move toward it. If you need to say, do I need to call Mr. Currie or Mr. Lugo?
Call us.
Then you can call us, or that may be enough to have a child respond to you a little more quickly, and that's what we would like. And then, be positive. Praise them when they do well, when they obey, and they line up. Say, you guys are great.
That's right.
You make it fun. Let them know that. So what about discipline? I mean, I did the managing thing. You did the discipline.
I do the discipline. Discipline can be very difficult when you come in and you're subbing for the first time and volunteering. What we would suggest is that if you ever have a disobedient child, go ahead and send them to the office. Let the administration take care of that. Sure. Things you need to be aware of when you're dealing with discipline is try not to argue with the student. Don't let them get you to where they're pushing your buttons and getting you to be upset. So just try to avoid that as best as you can, and be careful of your tones, how you say things, your speech. Be careful not to use sarcasm to drive your points home. The students are very sensitive to that, and that a lot of times will cause other problems in the classroom when you're having to deal with the students. And lastly, don't lose your cool. They are going to be seeing if they can get you to act out so that they can watch the show. And you're the show when you lose your cool.
But we never did that.
We never did that.
No, we never did. But maybe some kids today might do that, just so you know. All right. Let's talk a little bit about what the office, only the office can do.
That's
so
right.
Sometimes a parent might come to you directly to the classroom. They shouldn't, but they might. Or directly to where you are and say, I need to take my son, I've got a dentist appointment. They can't do that. You have to say no. Only office personnel can come and pick a child up from you, because if a parent gets them, years ago we had a parent that walked up the PE and the teacher didn't know, and so they took their kid, and then when the day ended, the mother came, that was the dad, the mother came and wanted to know where her kid was, and we didn't know. And so we've got to know. We sign people in, we sign people out, and it helps us, and it makes a big difference for you, so you're not distressed later on. Another thing is medication. If a kid asks you, can I have a cough drop? You just say no. Only the office gives any kind of medication, and a cough drop falls in that category. So we log everything. We know who we can give things to and who we can't. So let us do that. Don't you do it. One other thing, if a child gets hurt, let the office know and communicate. If it's serious enough, let the office know. And one time we had a parent that was on the playground, not even the one supervising, but on the playground, and a little kid fell, skinned their knee. And so the parent just sent a text to their friend, who was the child's parent, and said, hey, Susie just fell and got hurt on the playground. Well, the parent didn't know how badly hurt they were, so they called the office and say, what happened to Susie? And the office didn't know, and it was just a little skinned knee. It was one of those things that took a couple minutes and it was all over. So the parent comes to the school. She jumps in her car, rides out here, created a lot of distress.
Oh,
so,
man.
we don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's not
Communicate
good.
to the office. Let the office communicate with parents.
Well, let me ask you this. There are sayings out there that loose lips sink ships.
And that's for the Navy.
The
That's
Navy.
for the
Oh,
Navy.
not for us.
No, not for us. It's loose lips sink people.
Oh, people.
For us, and we don't want to sink people. And so it's important that there are some things that you avoid talking about. With your friends, when you're on campus, you'll probably see things that don't go exactly right. And we all have those things from day to day. Communicate to the right people, talk to the administration, tell the teacher, but don't go telling your friends. And here's some things not to talk about. You may see some grades and a student got a low grade. Nobody else needs to know. That stays at school.
Medical. Anything dealing with medicine, with the children, or any of their medical conditions, we need to keep that private.
Sure. Learning issues. If you see someone with a learning disability, you can tell and it's obvious, but you don't need to go tell anybody else. Again, those are things we at school need to know and need to be aware of and need to be on top of.
Discipline. If you have problems with students that are acting out, please make sure to take care of it, but don't discuss it with other people.
Sure. And don't write your friends on Facebook about it.
Yeah, no
please
Facebook
don't do
posts.
that.
No Facebook
Don't do
posts.
that. And don't talk about things you may see with the administration, the teachers, and
That's
staff.
right.
We're people. We all have a bad day now and then, and we all, sometimes lose our cool.
That's right.
And we just don't want that broadcast. So help us and feel free to speak to us about it. I would rather you do that. I would rather be spoken to. You got my permission.
That's right,
to help.
because you represent Covenant Christian when you're here. We want to make sure that
Absolutely.
the school is having a positive image
Yes.
when you leave here and when you're here.
Absolutely.
So how do I send a student to the office?
Well, if you need to send one student to the office and you're supervising a class, look for another adult around there that is with students or someone that you know has a name badge on as one of the student or teachers or staff, and say, can you help me for a second? Can you take this child to the office, or can you watch my class while I take this child to an office? So involve another adult. Another thing is send an older student or mature student with that child to the office. And many times that works well.
Another thing you can do is, too, if you don't feel like you have a mature student, just take the whole class with you.
Take them all.
Take them all and
Yeah.
just go up there. That's
Yeah.
easy
Sit
to do.
the class on those little bricks outside the
that's
office,
right.
and you can bring the one child inside.
Yeah.
So that's a good plan too. But what about ending the day? How do we want the substitutes to end the day?
Right. Well, it's going to be really important that when substitutes end the day, leave a note for the teacher that you're subbing for so that they know what's gone on that day and the good things that have happened and just where the work is at. That helps them have an idea when they get back to the classroom how to go about the next day when they start teaching again. Please, be courteous. If the room got a little out of order, help them out, straighten it out, erase some of the things on the board, let them come back to the class with it being in order. Other thing that you can do that really helps out is that if there was paperwork that was collected during the day, just make sure it's in a place that's organized wherever the teacher has suggested for you to put it at, just so when they come in, their classroom is in order and they're ready to come back to work. And, lastly, tell the kids that you enjoyed being with them today. Let them know that you appreciate them and that you love them, so that when you come back on the campus as a sub, they're looking forward to having you be in their class with them.
Yeah. We as people, we're all made in God's image. You are, the teachers are, the children are, and we want to treat one another that way. We want to be image bearers of God that are serving and working with image bearers of God. So if I act like I'm an image bearer of God and I treat you as if you're an image bearer of God, which you are, then we do that together. It makes the dignity and the honor in this whole place so much better. So we encourage everybody. Thank you so much for going through this with us. Make sure you fill out the forms. Make sure you answer the questions along the way, because these are really critical that those get turned in the office so that you can be here with us and keep the school moving forward.
Yeah. We look forward to seeing you on campus. Take care.